Council.
Good Monday morning, Jonesboro. This is meteorologist Tim Root with your KLEK 102.5 forecast. It'll be partly to mostly sunny in the mid-90s today and a 20% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. The feel-like temperature today, 103. A partly to mostly clear sky overnight, but a chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm. Overnight temperature near 75. Spotty showers and thunderstorms Tuesday and Wednesday, a blend of sun and clouds in the low 90s each day. Jonesboro, that's your KLEK 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. At least 98 people are now known to have died in an earthquake which hit the island of Lombok in Indonesia. US sanctions on Iran are set to snap back into place later, exposing international firms doing business with Tehran to penalties in the US. Saudi Arabia says it's freezing all new trade with Canada over what it describes as interference in its internal affairs. And the head of British Airways is calling on the UK to take action over long border lines at Heathrow Airport in London.
It's 9:01.
Community Conversations is brought to you by Arkansas Early Learning, offering no-cost childcare in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. Applications at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. I hope that you're having a great start to your day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. My special guest today is Dr. Bilinda Norman. She's Associate Professor of Nursing at Arkansas State University. And today we're going to be talking about some little health and wellness today. Yes. Before we get too deep into our topic, I would like for Dr. Bilinda to please give us an introduction of herself. This is her first time in the studio.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me. As you said, I'm an associate professor at Arkansas State University, and I've been there going on 9 years.
Okay.
I'm also a certified diabetes educator,
okay,
which I did for several years prior to coming to ASU, but I felt like coming to ASU, I could actually teach more people to educate the community and the patient population.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining the staff at Arkansas State University and sharing your knowledge and expertise with the community.
Thank you.
We talked off air a little bit, and you mentioned that you also do some community engagement as well.
Yes. We do several opportunities for people to come out for health screenings and things of that nature. I'm also co-advisor for our Student Nurses Association, and we actually get the students involved in some of those health screenings, health fairs, and CPR training, things of that nature.
That's awesome. So anyone out there that needs some nurses, I would say reach out to Arkansas State University. And this also will help the students engage with the community that they will hopefully be working with one day. So
yes, it does. That's one of the things that we really try to do, is to bring our students in and get them involved, because as you said, they are going to be working in the community and taking care of our patient population.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so let's get into our topic. So in the first segment, I want to touch on just overall health and wellness, and what does that mean? When it's such a broad topic, but in the health world, nutrition world, what does health and wellness mean?
Well, so, people think of health and wellness as kind of the same topic, but actually they're really two different concepts. Okay. They have different meanings, but really you can't have one without the other. Okay. And wellness is basically just having a positive approach to living.
Okay.
Changing your overall mental attitude toward goals and living a healthier lifestyle. I actually looked up a definition because I wanted to be actually correct. Okay. But the World Health Organization actually defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So basically, wellness has a direct influence on our overall health. Cool. So as I said, you can't really have health without wellness. You can have wellness without health. So
Okay.
that's basically what we're really trying to promote is a healthier lifestyle so that people can have overall wellness.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about, when people hear health, wellness, one of the first things they think of is nutrition or diet. And I would love to eradicate the word diet,
Me too.
from existence, because when you hear diet, you think of restrictions and I can't have this and I can't have that, deprivation. And that's not what a healthy nutritional lifestyle should consist of. Today we're going to touch a little more on nutrition, because then we're going to lead into some of these diseases that are caused by unhealthy living, and how they're sometimes preventable. But I want to first let's just get right into eating habits and overall nutrition. Let's kind of do away with this word diet. Where did it come from? Or
I wish I knew. Let me first say I'm not a dietitian.
Okay.
We do have a nutritional science program, and they probably would be much better at some of these questions. In my previous job as certified diabetes educator, though, a lot of what we did talk about was diet.
Okay.
And I will say that I'm like you. I really don't like the word diet. I prefer the term meal plan.
Meal planning.
Because I once heard from a person who actually taught me about 25 years ago that it was easier to change a man's religion than it was to change his diet.
Oh my goodness.
And when you think about that, that's probably true. We grow up eating the way our family eats and things like that. And so when you really try to change that, it's very difficult. We don't particularly like change. So if we can start out teaching a healthy meal plan and make small changes rather than large changes at once, I think we can probably get to a healthier lifestyle.
Okay. Also, I was telling you a little bit about my plans, and I have been trying to make a more detailed nutrition plan.
Yes.
Meal planning, I guess you say meal planning. And I just want to encourage people, let's start with the foods that you like, and then look at how you can prepare them differently. Preparation is another thing that is key in how our body processes the food and what effect it has on us.
Yes. We have so many additives in our foods today, and a lot of people buy boxed foods and prepared foods, and they have so many things that really we don't know if they're healthy or affecting us in a negative way or not. We know for sure that we've had more cancer, we've had more heart disease, and that's actually been something that's caused a lot of those diseases that we're going to talk about later. So one of the things is to eat as natural as possible.
Okay.
Not necessarily as I say in quotes, the organic way, but as natural as we possibly can. I think people think when we hear the term organic, all that does is raise the price.
Yeah.
So I think if we can eat from a natural state,
Okay.
then that would improve our overall health.
Okay. All right. So, and by natural, meaning more whole foods, things that you have to buy and prepare versus already prepared for you. Of course, there are lettuces and spinach, things of that nature, that is mushrooms that are in bags and, chopped up. Some of the work is done for you, but it's not mixed with preservatives and things.
That's exactly right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Even some of those things that you buy in the bags have some preservatives in them.
Oh.
But, you don't necessarily have to buy everything fresh. You can buy fresh frozen.
Okay.
So that actually makes it healthier as well. Much better than some of the canned foods
Okay.
that we buy. The one thing I like I usually recommend about canned foods. If you're gonna use canned foods, wash some of that stuff off that they've been preserved with.
Okay.
So maybe wash them and drain them prior to preparing them, because they are cheaper generally if you buy in the can. So if you wash them before you prepare them, then you are improving some of that health to get to a more natural state.
All right. So, during your time, you mentioned that you were specialized in diabetes.
Yes.
And so, what are some things you have noticed when it comes to people's nutrition that have contributed? What are some of the top contributors?
Well, one of the things is probably the serving size.
Okay.
we get so used to going out to eat, or driving through a fast food restaurant, and when you look at some of the servings that are actually given to people, it probably makes about 3 meals in one of those meals that they get. So I think if we first start by looking at the serving size, looking at what they're eating, that's going to make a difference. The big key, and what I see a lot of people not doing, is balance, because we don't always eat proper balance of the foods.
Okay.
We may eat, as I said, a lot of fast food. Not that fast food is a bad thing always. It's just that if we're going to eat it, we need to figure out how to do that in a much healthier way.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, and I know you said this is not your particular area, but you mentioned about balance, and so this would be we'll definitely have to get a dietitian in here to really break down more of this. But I did want to share with people that you can also supplement what you're not eating. How can I say? Get what you're not eating through supplements.
Yes.
There are powdered greens available. There are powdered versions of fruits and vegetables, or dehydrated versions that you can add to your drinks or sauces or whatever you're cooking. But again, we're going to definitely get a dietitian in here to help us break this down and do some realistic meal planning.
Well, and when you're looking at meal planning, not everybody is going to have the ability to buy those powdered things or to buy a dehydrator. My husband and I bought a dehydrator. Well, actually we didn't. We got it for Christmas. But we got a dehydrator last year, and we started dehydrating our own bananas and our own apples and making our own apple chips, and we did our own jerky and things of that nature. So it is much healthier if you're able to do that, but not everybody is going to have the opportunity to do that themselves. One of the things too is also looking at those nutrients within the product. A lot of things that we eat and a lot of the fad diets talk about the biggest one that I know everybody started with when I was doing my old job was the Atkins diet, which, when you look at the Atkins diet, it's so full of fat and protein and things of that nature. So there again, if we look for a meal plan that's balanced, then that will make a big difference. So we want to balance our protein, we want to balance our fat, we want to balance our carbohydrates, and add the greens that are much healthier, and the fruits and the milks, things like that. So there again, a balance of all of the nutrients that we can get is much better and will help us promote that overall healthier lifestyle and eating plan.
Yes. Another thing, you mentioned Atkins. One now that is more popular that I hear about is the keto diet. Yes. And I've seen people that have done it that have really great results. However, the key to success for any of these quote unquote diets or lifestyles is understanding the basics, the background of it, the understanding it wholly. And that's where talking to your doctor comes into play. Maybe going to a nutritionist and having a one-on-one sit down so they can fully explain in detail what the program is all about. So you're not just jumping out into doing something, because I'm sure you've seen people jump out they do something, they're on a kick for about 3 weeks, and then they fall off and
Yes.
go backwards.
Yes. Well, and two, you have to think about, as you mentioned, they really need to talk to their healthcare provider, get a full team approach, including a dietitian or a nurse that's educated in those areas. Because there are some people who, because maybe their friend was on the keto diet and lost 40 pounds, they think that they need to go do the keto diet as well. And as you said, they're on it temporarily. They lose some weight, but then once they fall off, they typically gain that weight back. The other thing is, a keto diet is not always healthy for everyone. For example, people with type 1 diabetes, they can be sick if they throw their body into ketosis. So there are a lot of things that they really need to evaluate before picking up one of these diets. And that's truly what I consider a fad diet. They're again looking more for a diet that's balanced and appropriate for whatever disease processes or health issues that someone may have.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask you about people who already have certain types of diseases, whether it's hypertension, diabetes, whatever else they may be dealing with. Definitely take precaution before starting something new that you haven't discussed with your doctor. Like you said, everybody's body, and I'm sure every diabetic patient body's body acts different. So please consult your doctor before just jumping out.
Yes, and that's one of the things that makes any illness or chronic disease so, I guess, in my opinion, interesting. Because there really aren't two people that are alike. And as we talked about different types of foods and things like that, just because it may have a positive effect on one person doesn't mean that it's going to be positive on the other. But there again, if it's negative for one, it may not be negative for the other. So once again, getting that team approach, getting some discussion with your healthcare provider, and being sure that what you're doing is appropriate for your health and your lifestyle is probably first and foremost what I would say is important today. Before you start anything or you jump on a wagon, make sure that you've discussed it with your healthcare provider.
All right. Let's talk about one thing I hadn't brought up yet, and then we're going to get into what some of the chronic diseases are that are linked to health and wellness. We see people who are on the... first of all, I don't know who came up with this chart on, based on your height, you should be this weight and have this BMI.
Yes.
I want to meet these people. However, there is this thought process, I guess you say, in society that if you're overweight, now, yes, of course, I'm not advocating for being overweight.
Right.
However, everyone that's over a certain weight is not always unhealthy, or they're not drastically unhealthy. And then those that are underweight or on the smaller side, they're not always healthy either. I'm sure you come across that.
And I'm so glad you brought that up. Some of my clinical sites in my job are schools. And if a child is over a certain BMI, their parents get a letter telling them, that your child's BMI is this or that, which I think is, as you said, inappropriate. In my previous job, one of the things that I many times would find is that you might have someone who is overweight, yet when you look at their blood pressure, you look at their cholesterol, you look at their triglycerides, you look at their blood sugars, and they're probably as good as they can be, yet you have, as you said, this very thin person who may have a high blood pressure, may have high cholesterol or triglycerides, or their blood sugar may be elevated. And we really need to look back at some of those things that we cannot change, such as heredity, because a person may look like their grandmother and their grandmother's mother. And there's not a lot that you can do to change that many times. So a lot of the unhealthy appearance that we think someone has may very well be based on the fact that that's just the way they're going to be. They may look unhealthy, but when you really sit down and look at what's going on within them metabolically, they may be healthier than I am. So we really do need to look at the whole picture, which is another reason why you really need a health care provider following those things.
Now, this may seem outlandish to some people, but how your body stores fat, like where it stores fatty tissue, can also play a factor.
Yes, it can.
In your health. And I found that information out by, I used to want to be a fashion designer, and so I would start looking at body types and, try to make clothes based on the body shape and whatever. Long story short, that led me to other research. It's okay, women store, I'm just looking at, because I'm a woman, so that's where my research led me. Women store fatty tissue in different areas, and we're all shaped differently, but I read that based on where your fat is stored, it can affect, certain aspects of your health.
Yes, and we've always heard of that apple and pear shape, and because people who store their fat more centrally may be at a higher risk of developing some of those diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease and things. And yes, you're correct. There are many people who store their fat in different areas. So that does play a part in some of those illness. Now, can I get rid of that central obesity? And yes, they can. And that's where we come into a whole different aspect of health and wellness, because we want to talk about their activity level and their exercise and things like that. Because in all honesty, I heard once, which is most important, exercise or diet?
Oh, wow.
Well, it's kind of like which wing of the airplane is most important, and you can't fly without both of them.
All right, we're going to stop right there, and we're going to definitely discuss that when we come back from our break. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Are you helping your spouse have an affair? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. There's no excuse for having an affair, and sure, sometimes they happen out of the clear blue, but more often than not, affairs don't just happen. Usually, there are things that are said or not said, done or not done over the years that are contributing factors. Here are some ways to push your spouse toward an affair. First, constantly compare and criticize. Hurt and tear down your spouse with critical or comparing words instead of lifting them up. Second, invest all your time and energy in your kids. Be sure that your universe revolves around your children. For more ways to help your spouse have an affair, listen to this week's episode of the Family First podcast at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
The McDaniel Law Firm, 400 South Main Street in Jonesboro, is a firm believer in justice and equality for the minority community. The McDaniel Law Firm has fought for our rights for over 44 years. The McDaniel Law Firm offers legal help for wrongful death as well as trucking and automobile accidents. Bobby and Brett McDaniel are available for a free consultation at 870-336-4747 or at www.mcdaniellawyers.com.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Work. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
House of Details, located at 3217 Herb Street, Suite C, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle: waxing, clear coat protection, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more. With a motto of, anything mean, we can clean. Details available via Quentin Bogard at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and houseofdetailsjonesboro.com. Check out the Dorinda Clark Cole Radio Show every Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. Listen as Dorinda plays the very best in contemporary gospel music and interviews all of your favorite gospel artists. The Dorinda Clark Cole Radio Show every Sunday at 4 p.m. on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Did you know that KLEK 102.5 FM is a non-profit organization? Did you know that you can donate to KLEK 102.5 FM and your donation is tax deductible? Donations to non-profit organizations such as KLEK can reduce the amount of taxes you may owe the IRS or increase the amount of any potential tax refund. Support your KLEK today. You can donate by calling 870-277-1080, visiting our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro, or on our website www.klekfm.org. We at KLEK 102.5 FM are blessed and grateful for your support.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I am speaking with Dr. Bilinda Norman, the Associate Professor of Nursing at Arkansas State University. So the first part of the show, it was just some basic, we did some basic discussion on, nutrition, food choices. We didn't get too deep into it because we want to definitely bring in a nutritionist or a dietitian in to get deeper into, supplements and the breakdown parts of the meal and foods and your intake and things of that nature. We just want to give you some insight onto how to start making some changes, hopefully, and just think realistically what you can do and what you can afford. But talk to your doctor before you do anything. We're gonna when we left off, when we get ready to go to break, Dr. Bilinda was talking about which is the lesser of two evils, I guess, diet versus exercise. Yes, right. But they actually are what you consider them mutually exclusive. Is that the term you would?
Well, I just think that you can't get the benefits that you need without doing both.
Okay.
And I don't mean you have to join a gym or get in an exercise program. Basically, if you increase your overall activity, and used to it was, you have to do 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. And now they've really encouraged people, whenever you can get in that 30 minutes, mm-hmm. if it's standing up at your desk and walking in place for 5 minutes, or sitting in a chair and doing some leg raises and some arm lifts and things like that. Because they've actually come out with a new statement that sedentary lifestyle or sitting is the new smoking, and it's increased our risk of some of these chronic illnesses and things as much as smoking. So, increasing the activity. And it not necessarily, as I said, not necessarily joining a gym or something like that, but getting that activity in there however you can.
And people can make everyday chores, just even around the house.
Yes.
A physical activity, maybe taking extra loads to the washer, or I don't know. There's all types of ways. I've seen videos of people dancing while cleaning. So make what you're doing fun as well as beneficial to you.
Right.
Just anything to get your heart rate up and get your blood to flow. So tell us from a nurse's perspective, what does it mean? What benefits does it have? How does it benefit your body to get your blood flowing, your heart to pumping, and your lungs to pumping?
Well, it increases that metabolism.
Okay.
So we're able to utilize the fat and the carbohydrates and things that we put in our bodies so much better with activity. And getting that heart rate up is important. So, that's why I was saying walk in place or something like that. But know what your baseline heart rate is. Okay. And, they've always said get that heart rate up to 1.5 times its normal.
Okay.
And yes, that's right. They used to say make sure it's up for, a certain amount of time. But I think we've fallen into such a inability to get any kind of activity with our jobs and things like that any activity is better.
Okay.
Several people that I work with have got the stand-up desks now, so that they're walking or able to do more rather than just sit. Or, and I used to tell my patients a lot, walk to the mailbox instead of picking the mail up on the way into the house, And as you said, just simple changes. When you go to Walmart, park at the back of the parking lot rather than sitting and waiting for that close spot for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So yes, just any simple little bit of increased activity many times will help increase that metabolism so that we do lose weight and be healthier.
And then tying in the wellness aspect of that, the more you move your body, the better you feel as well. Let's tie also stress into that. Stress and things that can pull on us negatively in our life. Now, some things are inescapable. I mean, they just happen. We can't, we're not, how can I say? I lost my word. We're not, we can't get away from everything. I'm sorry. That's not the word I was looking for.
No.
But
there is some stress that's just going to be there. And we can't escape that. But stress plays such it just wreaks havoc on our bodies.
Okay.
Stress keeps us from sleeping. And we've seen time and time again that people with poor sleep habits are prone to many more chronic illnesses and things like that. And that stress actually affects some of those chemicals in our body that actually help with metabolism and help us to lose weight and help us to be healthier. And it actually brings in things that aren't healthy. So, figuring out a way that we can decrease some stress, which many times exercise is one of those. If you've ever had a lot of stress in your life, then that actually impacts our sleep. And if we don't sleep, I know I see time and time again commercials and hear radio ads and things about people that aren't getting a good night's sleep, are more at risk for things like heart disease and diabetes. So whatever we can do to decrease that stress level, if it's meditate, if it's take a little walk, if it's nothing more than find a friend that you can talk it out with, that helps.
Now, do you feel, especially from a health professional's perspective, that we need to try to get back to simplifying our life as much as possible? I think about when I was growing up, I lived in a rural area. Life was a little more simple.
Yes.
We had a routine. Get up in the morning at a certain time, go to work, go to school, come home, had certain duties to do, go to bed. Things were a little less stressful.
Yes.
They flowed a little more, and our overall health and wellness was better. I'm not gonna say great because, of course, again, there were those life things that happened that we, couldn't escape from. But should people start to take a step back and really reevaluate their lives and say, okay, where can I eliminate some things, and how can I get balance in my diet, balance in my life, balance in my overall, just balance overall.
Yes, I think that's true of adults. I think that's true of kids. I look at a lot of kids coming into school now, and we have so much more obesity than we used to have. And so I think a lot of that is that life is fast, and how can we slow it down in that sense? But I mean, we want instant access to everything. We want instant weight loss. We probably, the first thing we do when we get out of bed in the morning is pick up our electronic device to see what the world is doing. So, yes, I think if we could slow it down, it would be better. If we could go back to, I'm telling my age here, but when I went to school, I played in the morning. I had recess about 10:15. I played after lunch. I had recess at 2:30, and then we didn't go in. Once we got home, we played outside. Mm-hmm. And now they've decreased recess in school. They've basically made physical education 1 day a week or something. So we have taken a lot of that activity and those ways to decrease our stress level. We've taken them out of our lifestyles. And what have we done? And I'm holding my cell phone, but we've added ways to make life a little bit more stressful. Yes, so, yes, I think if we could go back to a little bit simpler lifestyle, we might be better.
All right. You're listening to Community Conversations, and we're talking with Dr. Bilinda Norman. I'm Associate Professor of Nursing. I keep leaving nursing out. Associate Professor of Nursing at Arkansas State University. If you have any questions or comments, you can give us a call, 870-277-1080, or leave us a message on our Facebook live stream. All right, so I want to talk about, we already kind of talked about lifestyle habits and how we can make some changes, but let's talk about the effects, how our lifestyle impacts our overall health and wellness as well. Some people work 2, maybe 3 jobs, to try to make ends meet, and sadly, in this economy, I hate to say it's necessary, but there are people who have children in 100 sports activities,
yes.
Our lifestyle contributes a lot. We have people in our friend circle who are toxic, who are not adding anything to the growth, to our growth. So let's talk about lifestyle.
Okay. Well, and you can't talk about lifestyle, and I know we're going this way, but you can't talk about lifestyle unless you talk about getting those things out of the lifestyle that are going to help us. And one of the biggest things is quitting smoking, and then I think that's probably number 1.
Okay.
And then second, as you kind of mentioned, is decreasing that stress in our life. And if we decrease that stress in our life, we improve our sleep habits. The other thing, and as we've mentioned so many times, is getting that proper nutrition and activity level. I have 1 child, and it's not quite as bad as what I see many of my friends. I've got friends that have 3, 4, and 5 children. And yes, as you mentioned, they're all in some kind of sports, or they've got after-school activities that they've got to do. And I honestly don't see how they keep up with this. I'd be chasing my tail.
And I know this may seem, elementary, but as you're talking, I'm visualizing, okay, there's work, school, play, looking at it as a pie chart type of deal. How can I, again, find that balance in my life? Make a pie chart that represents maybe the 24 hours in a day.
Yes. Well, and we hear, one of the newest things now is if I can do what's right 80% of the time and maybe fall off my diet or not do my activities or something like that, 20% of the time we'd probably all be a lot healthier. And it's very difficult, I think, to make that pie chart because of, as I mentioned earlier, you know, you've got somebody over here that doesn't have any kids, and you've got somebody that's got one, and you've got somebody else that's got four, and they're trying to balance a lifestyle with all these extra activities. So it's very hard to do a set pie chart.
Okay. Oh, we have a phone call.
Okay.
Let's see if I can. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Who am I speaking with?
This is Quabila at KLEK. We're live on air.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. I was just getting your address. Are you at 1411 Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Oops. Okay. Sorry. That was for something
We could have answered a question for you.
Okay. Well, okay. Going back to talking about trying to find the balance in our life. Okay. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
And I'll go too. Let me say this because I think attitude is everything.
Okay.
Because some people handle their stress, their activity, and things like that a lot better than others. And if they get that attitude, that mental health, in a very positive way, they probably are going to decrease their risk of a lot of the problems that somebody who doesn't have that good attitude might have. So, you know, we can look at attitude also, which also takes us there again back into stress and things like that, because people that tend to have a positive attitude may not stress quite as much as others.
All right. So, and with that, do you feel that families can really put this into practice and let it spill over into their children's lives as well? Because children have mental issues, they have emotional issues, and it causes them to get into bad behavior.
Yes.
When I say bad food, like children may start stress eating or start taking on more stress, and their bodies can get affected. Children can get ulcers, and anything that affects an adult body can also affect a child's body.
Yes, and sometimes even worse.
Oh, wow.
And I agree. Poor eating choices are made, they start with the adult in the house. You know, I see and know many people who, you know, and I hate to harp on the schools, but, you know, the diet changed so much in schools, and based on trying to make a healthier meal plan, but they took a lot of choices out that kids had. So a lot of our kids who are very active and things of that nature get a very small lunch.
Okay.
And so what's the first thing they want to do when they get home?
Eat.
They want to eat. So let's do this the fast way. On the way home, let's, you know, drive through fast food, or let's buy a bag of chips or something along those lines. So there again, let's make some healthy choices.
Okay.
Maybe rather than driving through and getting a bag of chips, let's get some carrot sticks, or let's get some apples, or something that may be a little bit healthier. Because once you start that lifestyle, then your children start to see your positive behaviors as well. And as you mentioned, it all trickles down. So if we start with parents doing and making those right decisions, then children make those right decisions.
And then one thing I've seen, and I was a product of this at one point, being a latchkey kid.
Yes.
And you, as a parent, often buy foods that your child can grab on the go themselves without having to turn on the stove, and they can pop something in the microwave. Again, there goes those preservatives, those additives, things that are not healthy in the long run for them, and it trickles down and it stays with them until they become an adult. So then they're gonna, depending on the overall lifestyle of what happened at home, they will more than likely reach for those microwavable foods and quick fix items as an adult, which then contributes more to their unhealthy That's
Yes.
not even a word. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, everybody knows exactly what you mean, I can assure you. But, they do have quick fixes. I'm not to say that I haven't done that my daughter doesn't do that, and as you say, it is a quick fix. It's something that's going to satisfy that hunger. As I mentioned a while ago, we like instant gratification. So let's find some choices that might be a little bit healthier. One of the things that, and you'll hear this if a dietitian or a nutritionist comes here, one of the things we really need to get into a habit of doing is reading our food labels. You may actually find a food that is full of fat and has very high carbohydrates. Well, that fat and those carbohydrates are going to affect us a lot more in a much more negative way than if we get something that's healthier. So reading labels, reading serving sizes, nobody needs more than about 15 grams of carbohydrates in a snack, and they don't need more than 30 to 45 grams of carbohydrates in a meal, depending on activity level. Wow. And there again, that's why it's individualized. You go to a fast food restaurant, you order a cheeseburger, an order of fries, and a soda, which typically they're very large drinks. You're getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 130 grams of carbohydrates in one stop, which generally is about the max that somebody needs in a day. Wow. So making good choices and learning how to read those food labels and how to look and choose nutritious things is probably one of the best things that I could say in a very quick way. Sitting down with somebody and really learning, what do I like to eat? How am I going to do that healthier is much more important. But for a very quick fix, then monitoring those carbohydrates and serving sizes makes a big deal.
Okay. All right. We're speaking with Dr. Bilinda Norman, Associate Professor of Nursing at Arkansas State University. I'm really enjoying this conversation, and I know that it seems that we're kind of touching on a lot of different things, but hopefully we're setting the platform to build on the foundation, to build on for other topics to grow from, so that I just want people to have a basic understanding of how what you do, what you eat, how it really affects your overall of who you are. If you eat bad things, you feel bad, you feel sluggish. But if you eat better things, you feel better. I notice when I eat more salads and fresher foods, my overall mood, I actually feel better because your body feels lighter and is able to process those things better. Your body's not working overtime.
Right. Well, and there again, you get that balance. You get some salad. You get some maybe lean ham or lean turkey and put in there with that salad, and maybe a couple of crackers. You've got a whole balance right there.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to just wrap up our discussion. I'm going to let Dr. Bilinda have the floor. But first, we have a few announcements, so please don't go anywhere. Get tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Financial violence or abuse is about using money to hurt, isolate, punish, demean, and or control the thoughts, movements, associations, and esteem of another person. Signs of a financial abuser can actually be spotted relatively early in a relationship. Some signs that a person might be financially abusive include the following: engaging in behaviors that undermine your ability to get a job, start a business, or that put your job or business at risk. Exhibiting Jekyll and Hyde personas. For example, demonstrating financial generosity in front of other people, but vindictiveness when the two of you are alone. Pressing you to grant financial favors. You can learn more about protecting yourself and your money in relationships at GrownZone.com. For more information or for past shows, go to AURN.com. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
At Glen Sane, we don't just sell cars and trucks. We build relationships. This is Danny Ford. We have a long list of customers that are also our friends. Always know we're here for you. Glen Sane, God bless our troops.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
The Black Professionals Network of Jonesboro was incorporated January 2013 with the mission of creating networking opportunities and to create community presence in the Jonesboro area. BPN is a diverse group of professionals established to make Jonesboro an ideal place for people of color and operates under the 4 pillars of Live, Learn, Lead, and Link. BPN meets the 3rd Thursday of every month. More info, Black Professionals Network on Facebook and bpnjonesboro.org.
The Epic Center, located at 1899 Hasbrook Road, County Road 333, is Jonesboro's newest venue for entertainment for the entire family. They offer an auditorium with theater-style seating for up to 1,100 guests, a large stage, professional lighting and sound, dressing rooms, concessions, and more. Available for weddings, concerts, pageants, birthday parties, showers, and more. Booking and other information is available at Epic Center Jonesboro on Facebook, epiccenterjonesboro.com, and at 870-530-5841.
This portion of KLEK programming can be made possible by your business. Your support will help in educating, entertaining, and empowering the community by supporting local talent, serving the community you love, and providing information on issues you care about from a different perspective. Call 870-203-9951 or visit klekfm.org to learn how we can help connect you more with the community, or visit us at 1411 Franklin Street. KLEK 102.5 Jonesboro, educating, entertaining, and empowering the community.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I've been your host, Corvila Jones, and my very special guest is Dr. Bilinda Norman, Associate Professor of Nursing at Arkansas State University. We've been talking about health and wellness on a very broad aspect, but I'm going to let Dr. Bilinda have these last few moments and just highlight some things we may not have gone over and maybe and her final thoughts.
Okay. Well, we have talked about health and wellness basically can't be done without thinking about health promotion and health promotion activities. It's the attitudes and those active decisions that actually help contribute to positive health. And, I think first and foremost, one of the things is open communication and having communication with the healthcare provider. There are so many people who absolutely don't get health care. And, if nothing else, go to a free health fair or a free health screening. One of the great things about the hospitals in this area is that they offer health screenings to give blood work. They can check cholesterol, they can check blood sugars, and they can do blood pressure screenings. So many times we may actually catch some of the problems and things that could lead to chronic illness just by one of those health screenings. There's just so many people, I think, that actually don't even know that they have a problem. And if they could get to some of these screenings, see a healthcare provider, that would help a lot.
That would be amazing. This past Saturday, there was some nurses doing health screenings at the backpack giveaway at Parker Park, and I saw quite a few people from the pictures and videos getting their blood pressure checked. You never know, and some people feel like, well, I don't feel bad, so there's nothing wrong. You never know what's lying dormant underneath the surface.
Right.
It just takes one thing to trigger it for it to set off a whole mess of problems.
Yes. So there again, I think that being aware. And one of the things that we mentioned, it does kind of lie dormant, and it may come out all at one time. But we are aware of our own bodies. And if you know or sense that there might be a problem, you need to be going to the doctor. You need to be going to a healthcare provider and figure out what's going on, because we usually know ourselves better than somebody else does. I think also educating ourselves. We mentioned our phones and our iPads and things like that. They have access to so much, sometimes more than what we want them to have access to. But, at least give yourself some knowledge so that you know what questions to ask, what normal should be, as far as blood work and things like that. It's really been a pleasure, though, talking about this. We've kind of gone around and around, but I want people to know that there is a better opportunity for health and a better opportunity for wellness. So I'm really excited that I was able to be here today.
Well, I really appreciate you for coming today. I hope that some people walked away with some knowledge that that they can at least start building questions to ask their doctor, start building talking points to have discussions with their families. That's another thing. I had a discussion with somebody Saturday about how no one sits around the dinner table anymore.
I know.
So let's bring back the family dinner table discussions. Let's make health and wellness a top priority in every area of our lives. Let's get back to being healthy individuals, healthy families, and spreading that to everyone else that we encounter. We don't have to walk around mean and angry and unhealthy and bitter. We can free ourselves from some of that. Right. Again, life happens, so no, I don't live in this euphoric bubble. However, I do feel like we can have more control over some things that happen to us.
Yes. Let's move from sickness to health prevention and wellness.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Bilinda. And this will not be her last time here. We definitely want to get more into the chronic diseases, and more especially diabetes, because that's one thing that affects the minority community. I mean, it affects everyone, but it affects the minority community a lot, which is a big base of our listenership. Yes. And we just want everyone to be as informed as possible. Some things are hereditary, but again, they may not be triggered if we take some of those preventative measures.
That's right. So. Especially type 2 diabetes, which is what we see so much. We might be able to put it off for years or something. So Yes, I agree, and I'd love to come back.
We're definitely going to have you back. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for watching our live stream, listening on the regular radio. We also have a mobile app. You can also listen on our website, www.klekfm.org. Thank you, everyone in the community, for your love and your support. We couldn't do what we do without you. I hope everyone has a great day, and don't forget to stay hydrated.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in